welcome back to St. Louis, where for 14 years, Rams fans cheered on number 80 as he set every receiving record in franchise history, and today they got to celebrate Isaac Bruce one more time as the Rams.
Only 4 healthy wide receivers for the Rams today, and on the offensive line, we will have Renardo Foster starting at right tackle for the injured Jason Smith. First down from the 20. And the quick is out to Brandon Gibson, who's hit immediately, and there'll be a loss of a yard on the play. And the Panthers defensive unit. And up front, Charles Johnson in particular played very well. This unit has been on the field a lot, and they would like to see the offense keep the ball a little more. James Anderson has played very well at outside linebacker. And Charles Godfrey has been the outstanding player in the secondary. Richard Marshall, who made the tackle on first down. So now it's second down and 11. And the quick pass flag is down to Amendola on the right, and Amendola picking up a couple of yards, stopped again by Richard Marshall after a gain of 2.
Offside, number 95, defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Defensive end Charles Johnson was offsides. Carl Cheffers, the referee, and his crew today. Steve Spagnuolo coaching today with a heavy heart. His high school coach passed away on Thursday, Dick Exegian. They called him Mr. E out of Grafton High School in Massachusetts near Worcester. Spags was a quarterback there, and after a long illness they lost Dick Exegian. Second down and 6, and the pass caught, and again it's Daniel Fells, the tight end, and hit by Godfrey right away. And so a good early defense by the Carolina Panthers. No gain on the play.
And what we're seeing early, Dick, is nice play from the secondary. Richard Marshall has come up and made 2 nice stops on the one that was on a penalty. The second play, the first one dropped him in his tracks, and on that play Charles Godfrey, who is so versatile at the safety position, played a lot of corner in college. On the coverage, as soon as the catch is made, they're dropping the receivers in their tracks.
They're down in 6, and the Panthers utilizing the depth of their defensive line. Kenneth Darby is in at running back. Out of the shotgun is Bradford on 3rd and 6, and the pass off the hands of Gibson, incomplete. And so the Panthers hold, and the Rams will have to punt.
And when you've got to help out your offense, take advantage of your opportunities. Brandon Gibson, that's a well-thrown football. All right, he's got to go across, take that extra step, get his hands up, and catch the football. The coverage is good, but not good enough to prevent the completion if he goes ahead and ISOs the ball and takes it in.
Donnie Jones will punt, and Steve Smith, who last week volunteered to return punts, and he did return one for 32 yards, is back there now. And a good high kick will send Smith back inside his 20. Gets by one defender, and finally he is brought down. And so the Panthers will go on offense for the first time. That was a 59-yard punt. And so Matt Moore, the quarterback, trying to make it 2 in a row. Jonathan Stewart, the running back. As Charles had mentioned, David Geddes with a huge breakout game perhaps last week against the 49ers. That's the offensive backs and receivers. And on the offensive line, Jeff Schwartz at right guard, Gary Williams at right tackle, once again on the right side for the 2nd straight week. 2 tight ends for the Panthers. First down on the 25. They're going to run it, and it's going to be a flea flicker on the first play of the game, and Moore's pass is going to be intercepted by Laurinaitis. James Laurinaitis with the interception, and the Rams will get the ball in Panther territory on the turnover.
Everyone knows the Panthers want to run the football. The key to this play are these guys. Watch how they're not fooled. All right, Craig Dahl deep. Okay, so he's got everything in front of him, sees the play, and does not take the cheat steps to get himself in trouble. And then Matt Moore never should have thrown that football. He was in the grasp of the defender, couldn't get anything on it, and James Laurinaitis does a nice job dropping into coverage, finding the football, and turning it around for the Rams.
his first interception of the year, so a rocky start to say the least for Matt Moore. First down on the 37 of Carolina, and here is Bradford on the rollout. Can't find a receiver and will go out of bounds after picking up maybe a yard by Sherrod Martin. 1 yard gain on first down. So the first quarter should be one to watch, and we'll see if the trend continues. The Panthers have been outscored 45-9, and the Rams, with their best quarter, has been the first with a 34-6 edge.
And with this field position, the Rams have to think to themselves they can't come out of this with less than a field goal attempt. They're set up well for it. And Dick, we've got a game with two teams who like to run the football. We have yet to see a called running play in this game.
Interesting. Maybe the pass to set up the run. Here is the run to Steven Jackson going outside. Nowhere to go. And he'll lose yardage back to the 40. A loss of 4 with James Anderson and Dan Connor, the two linebackers, making the play.
You referenced in the beginning of the top of the show, Dick, the broken ring finger of Steven Jackson on his left hand. Experimented all week with different wraps, what he was going to use, trying to find something to give him comfort and protect it, yet still malleable enough that he can catch the football and help pass protect. Predominantly going to carry the ball in his right hand, so he's not worried about that part, but can he catch the football out of the backfield?
He warmed up without any help on that left hand. Kenneth Darby has come in as Jackson goes to the sideline. 3rd and long, 13 yards for the Rams to pick up, and this pass is caught by LaRon Robinson, but the Panthers do a great job, and right now Matt Moore has to be exhaling a sigh of relief for him because the Panthers stopped the Rams, who had a threat going. And 4th down coming up. Josh Brown is coming on now to attempt a long field goal. It'll be over 50 yards. 51 to be exact. Josh Brown again for field goal. So Sam Bradford 3 for 4 in his first series. 51-yard attempt, and it's going to be no good off to the left. He hooked it. So Matt Moore bites the bullet there, and the Panthers come back with the score 0-0. Back here in St. Louis, Dick Stockton, Charles Davis, Laura Oakland. First down for the Panthers after the missed field goal by Josh Brown at the 41-yard line. Jonathan Stewart. And Stewart maybe a half a yard. And we've already seen something from the Rams defense with the interception by Laurinaitis. Here they are up front, and good pass rush numbers from James Hall and Chris Long, the defensive ends thus far. In the linebacking core, you'll see Brian Keel for Larry Grant. A good deal on the outside. And in the secondary, Shigemo Atagwe, the veteran. Dockery and Fletcher are the corners. And Ron Bartell will be the nickel. He usually starts. Handoff is to Stewart. And once again, the Rams are there to start the run. Pickup of 1. James Hall making the play. And that will bring up 3rd down and 8.
Without D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart will get the majority of the carries today, and I don't think that he minds. This is the first year in the last couple that he's been healthy all year long, able to practice each and every day. He's had a lot of Achilles and ankle injuries. But this year, healthy, and look at him as a starter. 150 yards per game. Today, his 4th start.
3rd down and 8. David Clowney in is a wide receiver, number 87. And here comes the pressure. Stepping up is Moore. And Steve Smith holds on to the ball, but he'll be shy of a first down by about 2.5 yards. And a good defensive play by Ron Bartell, who's been playing with an assortment of injuries. And the bruised thigh and the ankle has been the one that's bothered him most. And he was kind of a hero in the late stages last week against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, came back into the ball game after having a stinger and just played so tough and so hard. And he showed a lot of heart in that game. Excellent coverage on that play, keeping Steve Smith from picking up a first down.
Jason Baker will be kicking away, and Danny Amendola, who handles both punt and kick returns for the Rams, on his 10. Another good kick. And it stays in play, but the Panthers are unable to keep it. in the field of play, and it will be a touchback as it rolls into the end zone. So it's been a defensive start to this game. No score with 8:28 remaining in the first.
Quincy Butler, a really nice heads-up play, blocking on the punt return and saved his team a bunch of yardage. That ball should have been down on the 1 or 2 yard line by the Panthers.
So they start from the 20. Here's Steven Jackson. And Jackson is hit by James Anderson as he gets a couple of yards. 3-yard pickup on first down.
There's Steven Jackson. It's the ring finger right there. And it's funny because we talked to him on Friday, and he said after the Monday surgery, the swelling had gone down enough, as he said, I almost look like I have a knuckle again. Which tells you just how big that hand was prior to the surgery.
And it was interesting what you said. The Panthers very curious as to see how effective or ineffective Jackson will be in his all-round game. 2nd down and 7, play action, and the pass is caught by the tight end Ohoma Nawanui, and the tackle by Dan Connor getting 4. And for a game break, let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
The Cincinnati Bengals had not scored an opening drive touchdown all season long until Terrell Owens caught this one from Carson Palmer. Opening drive of the game. Bengals take it 8 minutes plus, and they lead the Dolphins 7-0 early in the ball game. Dick and Charles.
Well, the Miami Dolphins have not won at home, and they have not lost on the road, which is kind of unusual.
And Steven Jackson goes out of the game, Dick. Normally he is a 3-down back, and they've got Kenneth Darby in the game, so maybe we're getting an answer early about the hand and what the Rams think.
3rd down and 3, especially as a receiver on 3rd down, and this flag goes down as the pass off the hands of Brandon Gibson. And so far, all the passes to Gibson have been high, and he's not been able to grasp it.
And I think the initial sign I saw is going to be holding on the Panthers, not interference.
Richard Marshall arguing.
There are multiple fouls by the defense on the play. Holding, number 31 defense, that penalty's declined. Holding, number 41 defense, that penalty is accepted. 5 yards, automatic first down.
So take your pick, Marshall or Munnerlyn, and they'll take the penalty on Munnerlyn, and the Rams will get the first down out of it to the 32.
Panthers in their nickel defense, which brings Captain Munnerlyn on the field, and he goes out and plays the wide corner. John Fox arguing the call, and Richard Marshall goes into the slot. Both of them guilty of holding on the play.
So the penalty giving the Rams the first down. No score nearly halfway through this first quarter, and the pressure on the screen pass to Steven Jackson, and Jackson able to handle the first pass out of the backfield to him. He gets 4 yards with Anderson, the strong side backer.
And he's not showboating on the catch. Watch. He just wants to grab it with one hand. He brings it down with the healthy paw, keeps it in the right hand, because ordinarily, what do they teach you as a runner? Get it to the outside arm, the sideline arm. Predominantly a right-hand carrier anyway. When your left hand's hurt, you're definitely not shifting it over. But he wasn't trying to be, a fancy player. Just the right hand is the one that works for him.
Jackson looking for his 4th straight 100-yard game. And last week breaking Eric Dickerson's mark, and now the all-time leading rusher for the Rams. Timeout called by St. Louis. No score. Rams missing a field goal, the only real scoring attempt we've had thus far.
Watch Steven Jackson in the pregame warm-up. Remember, the broken ring finger on his left hand, the ball comes over. Now listen. You guys got to remember, broken left hand. Don't throw the ball in that direction.
4 wide receivers for the Rams. 2nd down and 6. Bradford with a short drop. Pass caught, and it'll be a first down. Danny Amendola, who's been a big spark plug for this team. And so a first down for the Rams. Bradford has 6 completions for a total of 21 yards.
And notice they're changing the tempo up, Dick. Feel like they're a little lethargic right here, going right to a no huddle, getting to the line of scrimmage, trying to pick up the pace.
7-yard gain, first down at the 43 of St. Louis. Handoff to Jackson. And the Panthers have clogged up the middle. Every time Jackson is trying to run the ball, he gets 1 there, with James Anderson again making the tackle. And again, a hurry-up offense with multiple wide receivers. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Bradford's flag goes down, and Bradford steps out of bounds. Derek Landry putting the pressure on. Landry, the former Jacksonville Jaguar, the first sack of the game. That'll be a loss of 1 on that play. And it looks
holding,
like
number 70,
it'll be
offense.
declined.
That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
So Renardo Foster making his 3rd NFL start and is in his 2nd year due to the injury of Jason Smith, who has a concussion. So anytime you have offensive line changes, you could have problems.
And this is his first start since 2007 when he was with the Atlanta Falcons, so it's been a while, and he's been inactive for most of their games this year.
Jackson is out. Darby back in on 3rd and 10. Good pressure on Bradford, and down he goes. And James Anderson, and a loss of 6. James Anderson playing terrific football this year and has been on a tear as of late. So a loss of 6.
Brandon Gibson getting off the line against zone coverage. Captain Mutterland passes him off, but no time at all to try and find anyone downfield. And James Anderson, playing for the injured Thomas Davis, has played at a very high level during this season, getting his opportunity to start for the first time in the league.
And here's Donnie Jones punting, and Steve Smith back deep inside his 15. The ball will bounce and go out of bounds at around the 22-yard line. So we've already seen a different kind of Panther defense going against the rookie Sam Bradford, and so far the Rams have not solved it. You're right, Charles, that James Anderson has been on a tear. 2.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, a forced fumble in the last 3+ games. So now Matt Moore starting from the 20-yard line, 1st down. And Moore's pass, and it's caught by the tight end Jeff King, who goes out of bounds, picking up the 1st down and getting 13.
A nice vision by Matt Moore in the pocket. An early interception has not deterred him. He threw a pass he shouldn't have on the flea flicker on their first offensive play. But on the last play, he saw Craig Dahl, the safety, coming from a long distance on the blitz, saw it the whole way, and actually threw into the vacated area for the completion.
1st down at the 33 of Carolina. Here's Stewart. And coming up, Niall Diggs, the veteran influence in the linebacking core. Maybe a game of 2. And for a game break, Kurt Menefee in L.A. Kurt.
Jacksonville off to a good start in Dallas. David Garrard back from that injury, missed last week's game, hooking up with Mike Sims-Walker for a 10-yard touchdown. And the Jaguar defense has just intercepted John Kitna, of course, starting for Tony Romo. Jaguars up 7-3 and marching for more. Dick, Charles?
Wow. Cowboys 1-5. And Jacksonville coming out strong. Right here, it's 2nd down and 9. And here is Stewart. And going back is David Dennis. And Dennis is going to be tackled at the 23-yard line. Oshigamo Otagwe, the free safety, very alert on the play, gets Dennis back for a loss of 11 yards.
Okay, right from the top, Otagwe, the safety, watch him coming now. He's going to make the play, gets into the backfield, sees the reverse, and while he doesn't make the initial tackle, he drives David Geddes back an additional 5 yards before he's swarmed under. Oshimago Otagwe, they were worried about signing him in the offseason. This is why they wanted that contract done.
No question about it. Big influence in the secondary. 3rd and 20 coming up. Yeah, Carolina's been very fancy here on offense early in this game. Stepping up is Matt Moore, and Moore will slide at the 30 and will be short of a 1st down by about 13 yards. And now the Panthers will have to kick as Moore picked up 5 yards. So John Fox and the offense with the flea flicker and then the end around, trying to go into their bag of tricks on October 31st.
Yeah, I know it's Halloween, but I think maybe it's time to not play so many tricks and go back and play Panther football. Matt Moore, their quarterback, thought that they would kind of pound it a little bit more than they have here in the open.
Jason Baker kicking to Danny Amendola. Again, good hang time. Amendola at the 25 and doesn't get much as he is buried at the 30-yard line by Terrell Sutton. So the Rams get it back. No score here in St. Louis. First down on the 30-yard line, play action. And Bradford going to the outside, completes to LaRon Robinson. And Robinson hit immediately by Greg Hardy at a gain of 3. We have had 7 possessions in the game and a total of 32 yards already in the game. Okay, 33, won't argue with that. And so a lot of possessions, but not much production, Charles. Second down and 7. Jackson. Still got a pound away, even though Jackson has not been able to break much lately. 3-yard gain. John Beeson on the tackle, and we said at the outside, Charles, that the Rams have only 4 healthy receivers, and here's why.
Donnie Avery hurt in preseason. He represented their speed, stretching the defense. Mark Clayton, they acquired the week of the opener. He represented veteran experience and dependability. And Denario Alexander, hurt after one big ball game. He got hurt in practice on Friday. He represented the hope and the potential for the future. All 3 of them down today. They're trying to manufacture a pass game with guys who can't push the defense.
And that really limits Sam Bradford and his abilities. 3rd down and 4. And again, the pass to the outside. It'll be a first down. Danny Amendola makes the catch. Well, what a spark plug he has been for this team in so many areas.
He's terrific. But the one thing to keep in mind, they get a first down here. Great for the Rams. But if you're the Panthers, you're not really discouraged because every catch the Rams are making early in this game is being contested. So every time they're catching the football, there's a defender right there to make the tackle and put a guy on the ground. The Rams have to find a way to get a guy in open space and get yards after catch.
First down at the 41 now. Jackson gets it out to the 46-yard line, and that may be the last play of the first quarter, a 5-yard gain. Sherrod Martin and James Anderson make the tackle, and that will be the last play of the first quarter. The turnover, and the Rams could not capitalize. Isaac Bruce Day here in St. Louis, no score after 1. I'm going to say you can almost count the yards on one hand. 29 yards on 8 of 9 completions, only 44 total yards for both teams in the game. And it'll be 2nd down and 6 as we start the second. The Rams on their own 45. Bradford on the screen pass to Omamanawinui. Caught his first touchdown pass of the season last weekend in his career, and Richard Marshall brings him down after a pickup of 15 and first down to the 40.
And it's nice running by Michael Omamanawinui because he gets right up the field. He's coming right at you now. See the vision? Instead of trying to juke, instead of trying to find the sideline, he finds that tunnel or the alley after the screen, right up into it for a nice gain.
Omamanawinui, a 5th-round pick out of Illinois. First down now as the Rams are in Panthers territory. Here's Steven Jackson. And Jackson, with his best run of this young game, gets about 8 yards before Everett Brown takes him down.
Gotta love the offensive line here. This is what they live for. Because when they're choreographed, if you're running zone plays, it's almost like a can-can line, right? Everyone stepping in the right direction, everyone doing the right things. Hand placement, head placement into the gaps so there's no leakage inside. And Steven Jackson finds the hole, gets into the alley, and picks up a nice game.
You've been to Paris for the can-can shows, I guess.
Dick, I get around, man.
I guess you do. Jackson, 6 carries for 14 yards. That was his biggest gain. It'll be 2nd down and 3. And the quick pass to Amendola, tripped up. And a terrific play by Godfrey. Charles Godfrey in the backfield, making a play that saved the first down, a pickup of 1.
Saved the first down and plenty more. Because watch Godfrey, he'll come from inside here to end up having to make the play. So if he doesn't make the tackle right there, that allows Amendola to get up into the alley. And Johnson may have had a shot at him, but if not, he's deep into the secondary.
Godfrey comes in tied for 2nd in the NFL with 4 interceptions.
This is where Steven Jackson's going to count on his best friend, Mike Carney, if they run the ball, the fullback, to be his lead guy.
3rd down and 2. And Bradford has time and completes the pass to the 25. And a first down to Daniel Fells. So the Rams moving the ball, and this is the best offensive series we've seen so far in this game early here in the second.
And with the World Series going on, I'm going to take something from that and move it here. The Rams are playing small ball on offense. And what I mean by that is you're not going to see probably the big explosive play downfield with a wide receiver running deep. Everything short to intermediate routes, throwing the football, moving the chain steadily without the big strike downfield.
And they have the people to do it with, Charles. And the fake end around, and there's Jackson who gets free and gets a first down close to the 10-yard line. Well executed, and I think that end around had the Panthers fooled. Dan Connor makes the tackle, and Jackson gets 14 yards.
And this run reminds me of something Michael Strahan said in our pregame show, that when you try to tackle Steven Jackson, it's like getting headbutted by Howie Long. You know it's coming, but it's still going to have a lot of force. And he just bounces off of the first guy and then runs into the secondary, runs through another tackle, and it takes 3 guys eventually to put him down.
And they're using him in full force, so the Rams. That's 7 carries already for Jackson. And a first down on the 11-yard line, and here's Bradford trying to find someone and smartly throws the ball away. Charles Johnson putting the rush on, and Bradford knew how long he had before he got rid of the ball.
They work with a horn with Sam Bradford in practice about the time of a pass rush, anything below about 3.5 seconds, and that horn goes off. If the ball's still in his hand, it's too long, trying to make sure his internal clock gets calibrated to the speed of the game. So every time he throws a football, throwing 7-on-7, if he takes too long in the pocket, horn goes off saying, guess what, pass rush is going to get you. There's an example of him understanding how long he had.
That pays off, Charles. Now the 11th play of this drive. Not been a good red zone team this year, and the inside handoff to Jackson. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Panthers are all over him, and a flag goes down. Penalty flag thrown inside the 5.
And that came from late and from the side.
And they're going to call it on LaRon Robinson.
Repeat second down.
Holding called on the Rams wide receiver.
There's LaRon Robinson there working against Captain Munnerlyn. Now here it's called a stalk block. Just shield him away, but he ends up getting his hands involved, and he's got the cloth and the inside hooking on Captain Munnerlyn. Nice call by the officials. Hear all the time from officials. The players are complaining that I called a penalty against them. You forced me to call the penalty. You did it. I had to throw the flag.
Guilty as charged. So second down and 20, now back at the 21. 3 receivers line up on the right for Bradford, and coming in untouched. And the pass intended for Fells is incomplete, but it was James Anderson. Yes, that man again, number 50, came in untouched and very nearly got Bradford before he threw the ball.
And there's Anderson putting the pressure on Bradford. Now this play that the Rams threw was about as close as we're going to see to an explosive type pass play downfield as we've noticed so far today. And they used a tight end to try and get it done. 3 receivers in the route, kind of a divide, 1 to the outside, 1 to the inside, and Fells in the middle of them got one-on-one coverage, and they weren't able to complete it.
And they didn't count on Anderson. So now third down and 20. And the short drop, and the pass is caught by Brandon Gibson at the 15-yard line. It'll be fourth down as Munnerlyn was right there, gain of 6. So the Rams had first and 10 at the 11-yard line, and so the penalty hurting St. Louis, and now a field goal try coming up. Josh Brown has already missed a 51-yard attempt after a Laurinaitis interception. And this will be a 33-yarder to try to provide the first score of the game. And Josh Brown with the 33-yard field goal, and the Rams jump on top 3-0 early here still in the second quarter. Back here in St. Louis, where the Rams jump in front 3-0. That's the scoring drive. Bradford was 6 for 8, but only 37 yards. And I guess the first quarter is a moral victory for the Panthers, who have been outscored badly, and the Rams have dominated. It was 0-0. There you go.
Outscored 45-9 in opening quarters all year long. Where the Panthers, they'll take where they are right now.
Mike Goodson and Jordan Pugh are deep. It'll be Goodson running it out from the end zone for the Panthers. And he's carried out of bounds by Craig Dahl.
John Fox, the coach of the Panthers, I asked him in our production meeting, hey, how, you've got all these slow starts this year, outscored 45-9 in the first quarter. He said, that doesn't trouble me as much as slow finishes. That's what's been the issue all year long. The Panthers only averaging 12.5 points per game on offense.
Scoring the fewest points in the league on first down. Play action for Matt Moore. Drills it up the middle, and it's dropped. It's dropped there by Steve Smith, who normally it's an automatic for him.
Good pass protection, because this is a slow developing long strike downfield. And watch Steve Smith from the outside. Working, and he looks like he's stumbling a little bit, and the ball catches him a little higher than he wanted it to, but that's ordinarily a play that Steve Smith makes.
Steve Smith coming back from injury. There you see the difference from a red-hot start for Smith. Second down and 10 at the 19. Stewart and the Rams with good penetration led by Laurinaitis, who has an interception already in the game. Stop Stewart for a loss of 2.
And James Laurinaitis is playing very good football. You always hear the word steady when you hear James Laurinaitis. I think he's ready to ascend to the next level, because what's going to get him noticed are plays like that. Tackles for loss, interceptions, big hits. Today we've got a tackle for loss and an interception already from James Laurinaitis.
Third down and 12. Here they come in the quick pass to Dante Rosario. And Rosario is tackled down by contact, says the official at the 20-yard line, by Laurinaitis. A 4-yard gain. And the Rams, who really have upped their game defensively in the last several weeks, once again force the Panthers to kick. And this time, Baker will be punting from around his own 10. And Amendola going back deep. Not much of a return the first time he had a chance. Running up is Amendola at the 40. Trying to find an opening, but pretty good setup for the Rams as they'll start from the 45-yard line, leading 3-0. Isaac Bruce being honored today, and look at Matt Moore on the bench for the Panthers. They have not been able to mount much of an offense.
He's looking at big pictures and looking at lines. Rip Scherer, his quarterback coach, trying to figure things out.
Play action caught by LaRon Robinson. And Robinson picking up about 4 yards on first down. Other than the 15-yard pass to Omanawanui, Bradford has not been able to get a completion longer than 7 yards. He's hit 13 of 16 thus far.
But not for much yardage. And this is where I feel for Pat Shurmur, their offensive coordinator. How does he manufacture offense without a receiver that scares the Panthers downfield?
Second down and 6 at midfield. Steven Jackson. Nothing again. Maybe a half a yard. So it'll be third down and 5.
Jackson, the ball carrier. Tackled by Connor.
I mean, it's very difficult for the offense coordinator, Pat Shurmur, to figure out how to fool the Carolina Panthers on third down this whole ball game. Fortunately for them, they feel okay. It's 3rd and 5. That's what you'd call third manageable. But what it does is it takes Steven Jackson out of the game. He's no longer a threat to the defense when you're in this type of a situation.
That's been the pattern for the Rams, Charles. As you pointed out, Darby is now the running back. Third down and 5 at midfield. Bradford looking left all the way, and he completes the pass to Amendola. He'll have a first down, tackled by Marshall, and once again into Carolina territory to the 41.
Love the route by Danny Amendola. Sam Bradford looking for his target, sees it. Watch Amendola working inside the slot against Richard Marshall, gets him upfield, and then just a quick step to the outside creates the separation needed. Ball on the mark, first down Rams.
You know, Charles, neither team has been able to break tackles and get yards after the catch or even extra runs. First and 10 at the 41. Bradford has time, drills it, it's caught at the 16 and brought back, but they'll rule it incomplete, and shaken up is Omanawa Nui on the 15-yard line. Let's hear this. And the rookie from Illinois is shaken up. It was Chris Gamble who provided the hit. And we're going to take a timeout. So wide receivers have been injured for the Rams, and now maybe a tight end as well. We'll be back. Omanawa Nui walking off the field, and with his right arm.
Keeping it tight too, Dick. You make sure he's keeping it tight to his body, which is never a good sign.
Second down and 10 at the 41. Marty Gilliard, the rookie from Cincinnati, wide receiver. Checking in again. Here's Steven Jackson. And goes down after a loss of 2 thanks to Charles Johnson. The game break, Kurt Menefee.
Playing for the first time since week 1 because of an injured shoulder, Matthew Stafford gets his first touchdown of the year, but credit Calvin Johnson for the effort. 13 yards on the score, and the Lions lead the Redskins 7-0 in the second. Dick and Charles.
That's coming off the bye week.
And the Lions beat the Redskins last year for that all-important first victory. The Redskins were saying, not again.
So once again, as you pointed out, Jackson to the sideline on 3rd and long. Kenneth Darby comes in. 3 receivers to the left. And a flag is down. And a free play, perhaps. Referee Carl Cheffers will explain.
Quarterback is out of the pocket. There's no intentional grounding on the play. Offside, number 96 of the defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
Tyler Brayton with a 5-yard penalty, 3rd of the game for Carolina.
And with yardage so difficult to get for both offenses today, when you give a defensive penalty that gives them 5 free yards, that drives a coaching staff crazy because you're making them earn it the rest of the time. Why are you giving them something free? Ron Meeks, the defense coordinator, that changes what he calls on defense too, because it now gives the Rams more options.
This is like a pitcher's duel in baseball. Every play is under the microscope. 3rd down and 7 on the 38. Even plays like that. Bradford. And they're going to rule it a completed catch by Brandon Gibson. Losing the helmet there is Gibson, as Captain Mullerman was there, and it'll be a first down. Good catch.
And this is a nice comeback play for Brandon Gibson. You remember the first series of the game, Dick, where he had an opportunity to make a catch and possibly complete a first down for the Rams. He doesn't make it. This one, despite tight coverage by Munderland, uses his body to shield Munderland away from the football, envelops it, and it's a first down for the Rams.
And a gain of 8 yards, Charles. So Bradford now 15 of 19 for only 79 yards and a first down on the 30 of Carolina. Here's Jackson. And his longest run has been 7 yards, and that was pretty good there as he gets to the 26. A 5-yard pickup. Sherrod Martin, the free safety, had a shot at him back at the line of scrimmage and couldn't hold on.
Best friends on the team are number 44, Mike Carney, and then number 39, Steven Jackson. Watch them working in concert together. Carney leading, gets a block into the second level. Jackson stutter steps and follows his best friend into the secondary for a nice pickup. And good chemistry between those two.
He is his best friend at that. Loves that fullback. 2nd down and 5. Here is Bradford getting time, and his pass is caught by LaRon Robinson. Inside the 10-yard line, it'll be 1st and goal for the Rams. That good for 16 yards.
Check out over here. Check out Steven Jackson coming right at you. Number 39. We've talked about the hand. He keeps the hand out of play. and makes a nice cross body block, which buys the time for Sam Bradford to complete the pass downfield to LaRon Robinson.
Rams trying to win their 4th straight at home and even their season's record at 4-4. Amazing, considered what they were expected to do. And Jackson gets a couple of yards, but John Beeson is there and holding him to 3 yards with under 3.5 minutes remaining in a fast-moving first half. In the first half, 2nd and goal coming up.
Another long drive against the Carolina Panthers defense. And Dick, all year long, anyone who's had a drive of 10 or more plays against the Panthers has not scored. They've been finding a way to blunt those drives. I believe this is play 10 for the Rams on this drive.
Big test here for the Carolina defense on 2nd and goal. Bradford going underneath to Darby. Darby gets tripped up and winds up on the 2-yard line. And we have a couple of players slow to get up. Richard Marshall and up front Jason Brown. 5-yard pickup, so it'll be 3rd down and goal from the 2.
How about Jason Brown getting himself off the ground today with his 68th consecutive start?
And he'd like to make it 69 next week.
Yeah, so right? this kind of guy that when he goes out there, he goes down, he's going to bounce right up, be ready to play, and 69 would be a worthy number for him.
That's right. 3rd down and goal. And there's Bradford. Touchdown to Danny Amendola. Very impressive series by the St. Louis Rams. They didn't go deep once. In fact, we haven't had deep throws yet. And Danny Amendola with a 2-yard touchdown catch, his 2nd score of the year.
Look at Amendola right there in the slot. Watch what he does. Watch how smart he is when he catches the ball. He knows, don't go any farther, I run into coverage. He catches the ball and essentially sits down right there so he doesn't run into a big hit from the defensive back.
Dodge Brown with the extra point, and so Bradford now with his 10th touchdown pass of the year, and the Rams have opened up a 10-0 lead over the Panthers.
The intelligence of Danny Amendola, knowing the coverages as a receiver. If he takes this one any wider, watch on the catch. If he catches it and continues to move laterally, he knows he runs into the corner. Instead, he catches it, cuts it short, and takes it inside for the touchdown. And how about the maturity of Sam Bradford as the leader? They're thanking the big guys for helping them get downfield and score the touchdown.
Bradford 6 for 7. He was 6 for 8 on that scoring drive that got them the field goal. So a 10-0 lead. And of course, everyone who has followed the Rams are going to say, okay, that's fine. What happens in the second half now? Brown kicking off. Goodson fields it on the 2. Mike Goodson, good return, gets it up to the 30-yard line where Bradley Fletcher makes the play, and we have our 2-minute warning. 28-yard return here. We'll see how the Panthers respond. Now down by 10. We'll be right back. Coming up on the Visa halftime, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Mike, and Jimmy. Packers-Jets showdown. And the Cowboys, are they still a mess? You'll hear about that. 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line for Matt Moore and the Panthers. And his pass is complete to Steve Smith. And a 1st down, a tough takedown now at the 43-yard line by C.J. Aho, gain of 12. The big problem for the Panthers is that they've run 12 plays, the Rams 36. Time of possession favoring the Rams in a big way, and the defense for Carolina on the field too long. 1st down, they swing it out to Stewart, who goes out of bounds about 2 yards shy of the 1st down. Again, want to bring out the D'Angelo Williams, the leading rusher for the Panthers, out today. Suffered the sprained foot in the 4th quarter last week against the 49ers.
This should be the time that the St. Louis Rams should be enjoying this 2-minute offense, which means pass rushers get a chance to go right to the quarterback. Threat of the run a little bit less in this situation.
Two receivers and a tight end lined up to the left. Second down and 2. Moore. And it's complete in stride to Steve Smith, who gets down to the 30-yard line of the Rams. And that is the biggest gain of the day, 20 yards, with Butler on the coverage for Smith, and they hurry up again.
Good pass protection by the offensive line and tight ends of the Carolina Panthers. That's a deep breaking route, and Matt Moore had the time to deliver.
First down at the 30. And the quick pass out of the backfield to Mike Goodson. And Goodson gets tackled after a gain of 3, and John Fox practically running into the official to call a timeout. And that will be the first timeout called by the Panthers after the gain of 3 with under a minute to go in the half. Well, there's a new way to play fantasy football. Make real-time substitutions in a 20-minute fast-paced game. New games start every 15 minutes. Play now at foxsports.com/live.
And this is an opportunity for the Carolina Panthers because you never are supposed to look ahead too far in your ball game, but a drive here that results in points, they get the ball to start the second half.
Yes.
So they take a little momentum into the locker room with them and feel a little bit better and get the ball right back.
Matt Moore perfect on the drive, 7 of 9. 63 yards and an interception. Second down and 7. So Stewart on the sideline. Goodson lining up next to Moore. Now they bring Rosario there as well. Second down and 7. And the pass is caught by Mike Goodson, trying to get away and can't, from Craig Dahl, the strong safety. And the clock stops with 47 seconds to go in the half.
And the rookie wide receivers for the Panthers who played so well last week, Brandon LaFell, number 11, and David Geddes, number 12, they're not touching the football at all in the first half of this game.
Look how the rookie wide receivers that you just talked about emerged a week ago against the 49ers. Third down and 6. Moore incomplete as he overthrows Brandon LaFell. And fourth down coming up. And with 42 seconds remaining in the half, Rams hold, and Casey will come on to try to give Carolina some points.
And the reason he overthrew him is that Brandon LaFell stopped his route. Hey, that ball's supposed to be a fade route down the sideline. Matt Moore's looking for a guy, looking for his man, and he's not running the route anymore.
This will be a 44-yard attempt by Casey, only 41 years of age. And the kick is good, and the Panthers score with 37 seconds left in that first half. John Fox urging his team on. And now it's 10-3 the score. I'll tell you one thing about John Fox and the Panthers is that you never know when they're going to run a streak off, as they've done a couple of times in recent years, and trying to build on this. But they're on the short end right now, and that's got to help them getting some points, as you pointed out.
Yeah, getting some points because they take that into the locker room. If they don't give up anything crazy here on a kick return and give the Rams any points, they get the ball to start the second half. So despite the fact that they haven't had the ball much in the first half, they haven't been able to get much offense generated, they've got a chance to go into the locker room and feel pretty good about themselves and have a chance to eradicate all that in the first drive of the second half.
And Charles, the offensive line did a good job protecting Moore on that last series.
They did an excellent job because they knew the pressure would be coming. 2-minute offense, pass rushers, all they're doing is making a beeline for the quarterback. Offensive line held them out. They were able to hit a couple of deep breaking routes.
But as you saw on that graphic that we just showed you, the Panthers are going to have to do a better job of producing something offensively and not leaving that defense at bay late in the game. Lloyd kicking to Amendola. Amendola returning from the 2. And a steam for Danny Amendola. Flag is down back at the 20-yard line as Amendola has tackled at the 31. Nick Harris on the play. 31-yard return pending the call.
During the return, holding number 57 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So the penalty against Chris Chamberlain will set the Rams back here.
Chris Chamberlain, one of their better special teams players, missed a lot of action with turf toe. Just came back last week at Tampa Bay. They talk about how he plays with reckless abandon. Just want to keep his hands to himself occasionally when blocking.
Rams offense stumbled early, but they've come up big the last two drives. They only have a half a minute remaining. And here is the fake end around, and Jackson coming up the middle to get a couple of yards with under a half a minute remaining in this first half. And the Rams are going to let that clock run out. Don't forget, coming up, the Visa halftime. Big game between the Jets and the Packers. Cowboys have been trying to get it going, and they got Jacksonville, so you'll get all the scores and highlights from our crew in our studio. And that is the end of the first half with the score. The Rams 10 and the Panthers 3. Fox NFL Sunday continues with the Visa halftime report after these messages. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Well, halftime, 10-3, the Rams lead. Dick and Charles, and Panthers get the ball first, and they would like to continue the momentum, perhaps, of getting the scoring play at the end of the first half.
Yeah, the pace quickened a little for them. They went to their 2-minute offense, and the offensive line did a nice job of protecting Matt Moore, could make a couple of throws downfield. They got the 3 points. That makes them feel better. They get the ball to start the second half, but I want to know where the running game is. Where's Jonathan Stewart? I think he only carried it 4 times in the first half.
Got 1 yard, and they haven't gone to the rookie wide receiver, so how do they get this offense moving?
Well, I think that they've got to look at going back to being the Panthers. In the first half, we saw a lot of tricks. I know it's Halloween. We saw the double end around, right? We saw the flea flicker. Now we want to see Jonathan Stewart carrying the football and pounding at this Rams defensive front a little bit.
Well, there's the running game, -5 for the Panthers, and a big chunk of yardage for the Rams, who are up 10-3. Panthers 0 for 4 on third downs, and the time of possession, incredible.
We talked with Ron Meeks, their defensive coordinator, and he mentioned to us, and not in a complaining way, because we asked the question, you've been on the field a lot all year long, and he said, only 1 game have we won the time of possession battle, which means the defense out there longer. They have to find a way to make plays despite being at a disadvantage.
Josh Brown will get it started here in the third quarter. Mike Goodson is back deep for the Panthers. Goodson fields it at the 5. And he gets out to the 24-yard line. We send it down to Laura Oatman.
Thanks, Dick. Steve Spagnuolo said he liked the flow his offense was starting to get into, but he told his team in the locker room, do not get complacent. We have these second half issues. We have 30 more minutes. The hunger to win has got to be stronger today. John Fox started the conversation with, we can only go up from here. He said, offensively, it's not anything that the Rams are doing. It's all the Panthers, what they are not doing. He said he liked the way the no huddle was working. They're going to explore that in the second half. Interesting tidbit, Steve Smith came up to me off the field and said, I'm just waking up.
Noon start locally as Stewart is tackled by Oshimago Atagwe after picking up 7 yards. And so here's the problem that the Rams have had, and that is that they have fizzled in the second half, and they want to change all that today. They had a big opportunity last week to let that get by.
They've been accused of being too conservative in the second half, although last week 12 runs, 12 passes, and actually threw the ball on 7 of the first 10 offensive plays of the second half against Tampa Bay.
Second down and 3 from the 31. Here's Jonathan Stewart, and he'll get the first down out to the 35-yard line. Talking about the passing of Matt Moore, and sometimes, as we've known, you've got to throw the ball to set up the run. 43 of his 64 yards passing came on that last drive, which resulted in a field goal.
They handled the 2-minute offense quite well, and Laura just talked about Steve Smith telling her, I'm just waking up to start the second half. Jonathan Stewart, he woke up too. Those last 2 runs, that looked more like the Jonathan Stewart we're used to seeing from Jeff Davidson, the offensive coordinator, up in the booth for the Panthers.
From the 35, play action for Moore. It's caught, and a pass completion to King, the tight end. Second one he's caught today, and a gain of 10 yards.
And here's Steve Smith. The alarm clock's gone off. They get a blitz from the corner. And Steve letting the bench know, I can't be more wide open. The issue, though, is that the blitz came from the backside. See, the play coming from the backside. Matt Moore is looking on the opposite side for the route to develop. Never once had a look to Steve Smith. He would have been the last option off of that blitz.
9-yard gain, second down and 1. Mark it at the 44. Here's Stewart. He gets the first down as he runs right into Bradley Fletcher. And a first down for the Panthers into Ram territory at the 49.
Mike Carney does such a nice job for the Rams, leading Steven Jackson. Watch number 42, Tony Fiammetta, leading here for Jonathan Stewart. Look at the nice block there, sealing the corner on the outside linebacker, number 53, Larry Grant.
That was the longest gain by Stewart so far today.
Excuse me, that was Niall Diggs that he got that block on.
First down at the 48. And here's Goodson has come in for relief, and Goodson picking up maybe a yard. Laurinaitis on the tackle. And the Panthers in Ram territory for the second time in the game. They got the field goal at the end of the first half. Second down and 8 on the 47 of St. Louis. There's Brandon LaFell, third-round pick from LSU. Play action. Moore. And trying to get it to Smith. And he's covered by Kevin Dockery. Incomplete. And it'll be 3rd and long.
Nice protection. This was a case of Matt Moore really wanting to get the football to Steve Smith, because I don't think that this is where it really needed to go. The reason? Coverage was really good by Kevin Dockery, number 35, short, and Ashimbago Otagwe over the top to safety.
What does it do to a young quarterback when a receiver like Smith is saying, I'm open? Does that rattle him?
It maybe not rattle him, but you do think more about getting him the football in order to keep him quiet and keep the production up.
3rd and 8. Good protection and a first down. Dante Rosario, very reliable tight end who has made some clutch catches in the past for the Panthers, gets 11 yards, gets a first down to the Ram 36.
All right, zone blitz. Watch C.J. Ayu, number 99, coming out of the line, and he's going out into the flat area, and see him extend, trying to play pass coverage. Well thrown ball by Matt Moore. And I know C.J. Ayu fancies himself as an athlete, but that's not really the place you want him. You'd rather have him rushing the passer to try and get him down.
Rosario looked like a hurdler there. First down, here's Stewart, hemmed in, and down he goes, Bradley Fletcher, and a loss of 2. Will bring up second down and 12.
That was the case there, I think, of Ken Flagel, the defensive coordinator for the Rams, along with Steve Spagnuolo, trying to get a bead on the play calling of Jeff Davidson. Thinking run all the way on first down and bringing the corner with a little bit of pressure and making a big play and putting him into 2nd and long.
So Smith lining up to the bottom of your picture. Brandon LaFell to the top. Second down and 12. Here's Moore, and Moore's not going to get it off. Oshigamo Otagwe has that dance down pat. And a loss of 7 yards, and the first time the Rams have gotten to Matt Moore today.
Guys, back-to-back pressures from the secondary is dialed up by Flagel and Spagnuolo. This is Otagwe right here. Starting to come right at you. Here he comes. Times it up well. Ends up beating the defense, beating the blocker, because the blocker had to shift off to another presence, and that allowed Otagwe to get the sack.
Jonathan Stewart Went after a different guy. 3rd and 20. Out of field goal range right now, and there is Moore going for LaFell. Incomplete, and 4th down coming up. So the Rams covering the rookie Brandon LaFell well, and 4th down coming up, and Carolina will kick it away.
And that series was won on 1st and 2nd down. The plays by Bradley Fletcher, and then a Shimago Otagwe to force him into 3rd and long, which allows you to dial up whatever you want on defense. Nowhere to go with the ball. The Panthers have to punt it away.
Amendola deep, and Baker will kick. Fair catch. Called for at the 15, and a flag thrown right around midfield.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. Number 82 was not on the line of scrimmage. There were only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. 1st down, timeout.
So Gary Barnidge called for the foul. They'll mark off the 5 yards. Sam Bradford going to work for the first time in the 2nd half. An update at the Rams injury. Michael Ho'omanawanui suffered a rib injury, questionable as to his return. And we will have a offsides penalty.
Neutral zone infraction, number 95 of the defense. His movement into the neutral zone caused a reaction by the offense. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
So the 5-yard penalty was marked off before this first play. The Rams get back.
And this is additional yardage right here that the Panthers are giving up. Now it changes your playbook. Instead of 1st and 10, you go to 1st and 5. So if you're Pat Shurmur and you want to do something a little more exotic, you've got the down and distance to do that.
2 tight ends, and the handoff is to Jackson. And Jackson picks up a couple of yards on the play. Jackson had 12 carries for 37 yards. And his longest run was 14 in the 1st half, picks up 2, and it'll be 2nd down and short.
And Dick, you were talking about Michael Ho'omanawanui being out with the rib injury. What that does to the Rams is becoming one of their primary targets as a tight end downfield. We saw him catch a screen pass, and the play he got hurt was a bigger pass down the seam, and he also works inside as a fullback in the run game.
Jackson goes out now to the...
And then they go screen to the opposite side to Fells for the 1st down.
Rams up to their 33. LaRon Robinson in motion. And here's Jackson trying to go outside. And does. And Marshall rides him out of bounds right about the 40-yard line. And a pickup of nearly 7 yards for Jackson.
Watch LaRon Robinson. He's going to be involved in this play. He's going to chip early to try and help out. See, he goes down low on Beeson. Doesn't really get him, but look, he's in the way, so Beeson has to hurdle him a 2nd time, and that takes Beeson out of the play. Allows Steven Jackson to run the football downfield.
This is a key drive in a lot of ways for the Rams.
The Rams team has been such starters in the 2nd half, can't generate points. This drive here could go a long way towards them feeling like they're not just sitting on a lead.
Bradford. By Gibson, and Gibson gets a few extra yards. Brandon Gibson, good hustle after a good catch, and gets to the 45 of Carolina, gaining 15 yards for St. Louis.
And how about the evolution of Brandon Gibson, a 2nd-year guy, understanding his quarterback is in trouble and coming back to the football and presenting himself as an open target. Bumps off of Chris Gamble, shows his numbers to Sam Bradford, and that gives Bradford the target to throw the ball, and then turns it and gets it back upfield for additional yardage. Brandon Gibson, who was inactive to start this season, now becoming a vital part of their offense.
Denario Alexander out with a sprained knee, and so the big play guy is Gibson. Here's Bradford, and he throws it away. Was trying to go to the left side to Gibson, but he was well covered.
This young man is so smart. I'm talking about Sam Bradford. They were trying to get a big play here on kind of a reverse route with Gibson, trying to get all flow going to the right and hit Gibson back on the backside.
About 3 yards shy of the first down after Landry catches up to him. And we're winding down to a minute remaining in the third quarter. Steven Jackson, as he's done throughout this game, goes out of the game on third down.
And that does not make him happy. He takes great pride in being a 3-down back, available in all phases of the game, but he understands the situation. Broken ring finger on his left hand, not able to catch the football very well or pass protect to the same extent.
But he's playing, and a lot of guys wouldn't be under those circumstances. Third down and 3. Losing the ball is Bradford, but he falls on top of it. And that'll be fourth down, and the Rams will have to kick. So we have seen Bradford do 2 alert things rookie quarterbacks don't often do. Number one, throw the ball away when he didn't have a receiver, and the other one, not to do anything fancy when he didn't have control of the ball.
Yeah, and while we're giving him a little praise for that, you got to ding him too. That's quarterback center exchange. That's something that's supposed to be automatic. You got to be able to have that down. And it's funny, with Sam Bradford, the bar is set so high by his performance, you end up nitpicking at the small things he didn't do very well.
Well, the captain is going back now. Captain Munnerlyn to receive the punt. And John Fox has thrown the challenge flag. This is the first challenge of the game.
So he's trying to say there was no whistle on the play about possession. That's what I'm, as I try and lip read. See, after the fumble, there's Bradford trying to get to the football, and see on the other side is Tyler Brayton battling him for the football and taking it away. And what John Fox is saying is, where was the whistle? Because that scrum should still be going on for the football. And if that's the case, we have the ball.
There you see Bradford, and it looked like Tyler Brayton had grabbed it away from him. Carl Sheffers explaining it. It is not reviewable, we understand.
Carolina had a question about the recovery of the ball in the field of play. That is a non-challengeable aspect of the play. It will be fourth down, St. Louis.
And this is what really helped this whole challenge aspect, is that the officials talk to a coach, and instead of a coach wasting one.
And remember last week with Pittsburgh and Miami, Ben Roethlisberger trying to going to the end zone. Ball comes free, not reviewable there. So Pittsburgh is up with the ball on the 1 yard line, goes on to win the game.
Here's Donnie Jones. Munnerlyn. Great kick by Jones. Munnerlyn back on the 10. He has a blocker. Fells is the only one. And Captain Munnerlyn returns it to the 40-yard line as the third quarter comes to an end. A 30-yard return after a great punt of 57 yards. That's the end of the third. Rams lead at 10-3, and Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break from your local Fox station. Good field position. 41-yard line of Carolina. Panthers trailing by 7. Jonathan Stewart. And nothing today, and a good tackle by Craig Dahl, the strong safety. This is a team, Charles, in which they have 2 outstanding rookie receivers in David Geddes, Brandon LaFell. They have no catches between them.
And sometimes you have to force feed them. They had a big game last week, and you often worry about rookies being up and down. They have a big game one week, can't follow it up the next. But today, not sure how many opportunities they've had. Sometimes you got to find a way to get the ball in their hands and make them part of the offense.
Give them a chance. Second down and 9. Again, Stewart breaks a tackle. And Stewart out to the 45. Brian Keel finally brings him down. 4-yard pickup. We're going to need about 5.5 yards for the first down.
And up in the booth, Jeff Davidson, the offensive play caller for the Panthers, exhales a little bit because it changes what he needs to call. If he gets tackled on the spot, it's 3rd and long. Instead, it's now 3rd and manageable.
Stewart has averaged 2.1 yards per rush. It's been an anemic day for both teams offensively. Now 3rd and 5 for the Panthers. And here's Moore, and he completes the pass. And Steve Smith fumbles, and the Rams recover. Chris Long with a recovery and the second turnover by Carolina. He would not have had the first down anyway.
And this is becoming a very attacking and opportunistic Rams defense. Craig Dahl knocks it free. Chris Long hustles and gets possession before it goes over the sidelines. The Rams in business in the 4th quarter.
After the turnover, 1st and 10 Rams.
And back here in St. Louis, Carolina turns it over twice. And Mananui, who had the rib injury, is back in the lineup, and he's the move man now. And on the play action for Bradford, the screen, and Mananui makes the catch. And a flag comes back from upfield. Penalty marker down. Late flag after a 4-yard gain.
That was thrown all the way from the back judge to the line of scrimmage.
And he almost made it to the line of scrimmage with that throw.
He might want to take a turn in the World
Pass
Series.
interference, number 16, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Pushing off was Danny Amendola. And that'll set the Rams back. And it'll go back into their own territory. They'll mark it at the 47.
You guy, back in the lineup though.
Yep.
Glad to have him back, showing some toughness, coming back from the shoulder injury, and then he takes the hit right away.
As you pointed out, the short on wide receivers and the tight ends have been the big targets. They're going to hand off to Steven Jackson. And Jackson gets to the 49 of Carolina. And time for a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.
And time for another Matthew Stafford touchdown pass. Out since week 1 with that injured shoulder. He's got 2 touchdown passes today. This one to Brandon Pettigrew. And the Lions have a 1-point lead midway through the 3rd quarter over the Redskins. Dick and Charles.
Tell you one thing, Kurt, the Lions are a lot better than 1-5.
We saw them a couple of weeks ago with the New York Giants, and we said it then, and we'll stand by it. That's a team on the move.
Fells going in motion across the line, 2nd and 15. And Bradford has time, drills it, caught! Brandon Gibson down to the 15. 33-yard pickup. Gibson's been the big target today for Bradford. Marshall and Martin downfield on the coverage.
A couple early drops, but since then, Brandon Gibson has been sterling in his play. See Sam Bradford locating him with a nice throw, but the route was terrific as he bent it inside and then broke it to the sideline. Ball was presented. Big first down for the Rams.
5 catches, 61 yards for Brandon Gibson. And the handoff to Jackson. And was Jackson looking to get it back to Bradford. He spun around, and Dan Connor was right there, and there'll be a loss for the Rams of 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Dick, if that was flea flicker or Steven Jackson was just in trouble and trying to find an escape hatch. And there just wasn't one there.
Amendola back into the huddle. This is the 3rd red zone possession today. And all of their points in the red zone, but only the 2nd time they have started in Carolina territory, and they missed the field goal the first time around. A false start 5-yarder will be marked off against the homestanding Rams here.
They had 2 key ones last week at Tampa that hurt them in the 4th quarter.
Illegal snap, number 60, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Jason Brown out of North Carolina. The Tar Heel moved.
See right there. But that's it. That's like playing in the backyard on Thanksgiving Day. You know, when the family's over and everyone has the turkey bowl, and you do the old center sneak and the old fake, and oh, you were offside. That may work there. That doesn't work here.
I'm always split wide to the left. I never see that play. Play action. And Bradford throws it away. Greg Hardy was chasing him down, and he looked for Jackson underneath, but Jackson was covered, so he ended up throwing it away, and it'll be 3rd and 18.
And if you're a young player and you wonder why your coaches want you to get into the weight room and get stronger, that play is evidence of why. Sam Bradford played his last year at Oklahoma at about 215 pounds. Hurt his shoulder a couple of times, and when he came back for the combine, he was about 236. thicker, stronger, able to have that extra strength to fight off the tackler and throw it out over the sideline and save yardage.
Well, he needed the strength to carry that Heisman Trophy off of the leg turn. 3rd down and 18. Pressure. Flushes Bradford from the pocket. Hits Fells. Fells to the 5. Touchdown! Catches his 2nd touchdown play of the year, 23 yards, and rambled in for the score. And now Josh Brown for the extra point, and Bradford has thrown 2 TDs today, and the Rams now lead it 17-3 over the Panthers, scoring a touchdown off of the Panthers turnover.
All right, Daniel Fells is the primary receiver, but watch Amendola 16 and Robinson 19. They clear the way for him because Amendola's running right there. Stop. Clear route there. Robinson's holding him here in a short route, which leaves this territory open for Daniel Fells. Nice throw by Bradford. Fells for the catch over Marcus Hudson, number 25. Touchdown Rams, and you can't say they have not been aggressive offensively in the second half of this game.
I will not say it. Goodson on the kick return. And he gets to the 20. Drake Dahl was there. Pat Shermer dialing them up the plays for a team that normally hasn't done much in the second half. But now it's a 2-touchdown lead. Well, the mountain just got a little steeper for the Panthers, who have not scored a touchdown today, only 7 all year, and will start from the 20-yard line, trailing 17-3. Matt Moore going deep, and it's tipped away. Beautiful play made by Ron Bartell on the pass intended for Brandon LaFell.
Finally trying to find one of those rookie receivers that tore up the San Francisco 49ers last week. LaFell had over 90 yards worth of catches last week. David Geddes, number 12, the other rookie, had 120-plus yards of receptions and 2 touchdowns. And today, they can't get him the ball. Really nice play by Bartell, falling into coverage.
Five defensive backs in the lineup for the Rams, 2nd and 10. Play action again, and it's looped in the air, and it's picked off. James Butler. And let's see if that pass was tipped. James Butler on the interception gets it inside the 30-yard line. We know that there was big pressure by James Hall, who comes into the game with 6.5 sacks. They got his arm, and it was picked off. And the Panthers' struggles on offense not helped by 2 turnovers today. They've only gained 48 yards, 3 turnovers in the game. And now the Rams with another big chance starting from the 28 of Carolina. Steven Jackson goes down for a loss of 4 yards thanks to James Anderson. And now with the margin 17-3, and it could be more, you know that Ram defensive is going to be coming on again.
And what they're looking for here, frankly, is a field goal. Obviously, they want a touchdown, but a field goal here, when you get it to 20-3 and make it 2+ scores, that's when you start to feel better, especially the way the Rams defense is playing today.
2nd and 14. Quick pass out to Laurent Robinson. Wrestled out of bounds. Actually does not go out of bounds. And the clock continues to run after a gain of 3. Steve Spagnuolo, whose team won 1 game last year, and a victory today would give the Rams a 4-4 record going into their bye week. a rapid improvement, rapid ascent by this team.
And let's see how far Sam Bradford takes this play clock down. Right, this going along with the game clock. With this type of a lead, you want to take it down as far as you can and use as much time as possible.
3rd down and 11. Bradford on the slant, caught by Gibson. And Gibson with his 6th catch of the game. And you're absolutely right, Charles. They get it to the 23-yard line, certainly within good field goal range for Josh Brown to add 3 more.
And you know that the Rams today, with Bradford spreading the ball around, 7 different guys have caught passes for them, but the Rams are in that little tough spot right now, trying to be aggressive in the second half and not sitting on leads, which they felt like cost them last week against Tampa, but also trying to milk the clock and take things down.
Josh Brown, 1 for 2, missed on a 51-yarder in the first quarter, connected from 33 yards in the second. This from 41 yards, and this kick is good. And flag goes down. Penalty marker down. Remember, it was 4th and 5. And if the penalty would be against Carolina, it could be a first down.
Offside, number 20, defense. That 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
That's exactly what it is, and so they keep the ball. Chris Gamble offsides, the cornerback.
And ordinarily, you would think about leaving the points on the board. All right, watch the bottom of the screen here, Chris Gamble. He'll be the one that jumps and gets caught in the neutral zone. Ordinarily, Dick, I'd say, hold a second. Why would you take points off the board here? You know why? It's the clock. It's the clock. They want to take that 8:24 and run that down even farther. And you already have a 2-touchdown lead.
Panthers came into this game looking for their first road victory, trying to build something and make it 2 in a row after their success over the 49ers last week. And the Rams coming out hungry after their loss last week to the Buccaneers in a game in which they controlled most of the time. How about coming up next, America's Game of the Week, Vikings and Patriots, and then Game 4 of the World Series after that, right here on Fox. First down on the 18 after the penalty. Here's Jackson. Jackson tackled from behind by Derek Landry, and a gain of 1, but that clock keeps moving.
And what Steve Spagnuolo and Pat Shermer calling down from the booth told the offense is, pay this off. In other words, don't turn the ball over here now. We're putting confidence in you to take the clock down and help us. We already had the points before. No big turnover, no momentum changing plays by our offense to help Carolina out of this hole.
2nd down and 9. Again, 2 tight ends. Jackson gets a little running room here. And then not letting go is Sherrod Martin, the free safety, a gain of 4. And now we're winding down to 7.5 to go. It'll be 3rd down for St. Louis.
And with Steven Jackson, whenever he's in the game, all eyes go to him first from a defense. So you have to try and take some attention away.
Oh, he's coming back in on 3rd down.
But that was the ghost motion we saw on the last play, where Amendola came all the way behind the quarterback and faked it. You're trying to get any type of attention away from Steven Jackson while still making him an integral part of your offense.
The best move he's made was that turnaround from coming off the field.
Coach, I'm staying in. Yes, sir, you are.
3rd down and 6. And they go to Jackson. Jackson gets the first down. First down at the 7-yard line. And a flag down at the line of scrimmage. And let's see if there was a hold somewhere that
Holding,
freed Jackson.
number 60, offense, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So no first down. Instead, Jason Brown called for holding.
And that wiped away a gorgeous run by Steven Jackson. So here's Brown, number 60 in the middle, working against Ed Johnson, number 99. Guys, his hands inside. Everything looks good there. But right here is the hold. Right there on John Beeson where he hooks it. And it wiped away a gorgeous jump cut by Steven Jackson to freeze the defense in the hole. And then he sprinted through it for the first down.
So now 3rd and 16 instead of a first down at the 7. Kenneth Darby driven back. And timeout called by John Fox, I believe. And Josh Brown coming up to add 3 to the lead. And that is the first timeout called by Carolina here in the second half. We have 6:39 to go in the fourth quarter, and we're going to take a break. The Rams are up 17-3. Carolina calling the timeout, and now the Rams on fourth down attempting a 41-yard field goal by Josh Brown. And Brown's 41-yarder is good. So the field goal that came off the board also from 41. And as a result, the Rams use 2 more minutes off the clock. They're up 20-3. And here are the Game 4 probables tonight. After football, it'll be Madison Bumgarner, who's the 5th youngest pitcher ever to start a World Series game at age 21. Tommy Hunter will be toiling, as we say, for the Texas Rangers, who will try to draw even with the Giants in the World Series. And boy, did Texas respond in Game 3 last night.
Similar to their owner, Nolan Ryan. And you're looking at Tommy Hunter pitching. Think about Nolan Ryan, how he's remade how they look at pitchers in Texas. None of this, pitch counts and limited starts. You guys go play.
Goodson playing, and he's running that back to the 19-yard line. And again, the point you made, and very well made, on the missed field goal. And there's a skirmish going on up there, and Laurinaitis right in the middle of that. And this has got to be frustration on the side of Carolina.
They do realize who Laurinaitis' dad is, right? One of the original Road Warriors in professional wrestling. He might have a move or two for you. So if I were him, I'd just make nice at that point.
Will his father come onto the field and
listen? If he gets tagged in, he's there. There's no doubt about it. But them taking the points off the board tells you what Steve Spagnuolo thinks about his team this year. Because you and I talked in the break, Dick. Last year's team, if he'd made a similar move, somehow there would have been a fumble that would have been returned for a touchdown or a pick six. This year's team, he feels a lot more confident in executing the game plan.
First down, and a pass tipped at the line of scrimmage by Fred Robbins, the veteran.
Fast Foot Freddie.
Yes.
Michael Strahan's old teammate. They called him Fast Foot Freddie. A great leader for this ball club. And we asked him in our meeting, hey, you're known as a run stopper. He said, yeah, but boy, I sure love rushing the quarterback. Every lineman does.
Well, the addition of Fred Robbins and Niall Diggs, 2 veterans. James Butler, another one who has played for Steve Spagnuolo with the Giants, helping out this young defense. Second down and 10 from the 20. Under 6.5 to go in the game. Matt Moore stepping up, loses the ball. Flag goes down. And it was Chris Long, who has come on so large lately for the Rams, came in. We're going to have a holding penalty against the Panthers.
And it will be on Chris Long. He forced the holding penalty by his pressure.
Holding, number 65 offense. That penalty's declined. Third down.
Gary Williams, the right tackle here.
See, right there, Chris Long is getting to the quarterback despite Gary Williams hanging on to him. So it becomes a strip sack for Long after that big play. His motor always on high. The numbers may not say he's one of the great sack masters, but the pressure he puts on a quarterback does nothing but help his defense overall.
Third down and 15. And here they come again for the Rams. Why not? Leading by 17. Moore's pass, and it's caught by Steve Smith. And Smith brings it out to the 37-yard line. Tagle makes the stop. So in stride, Steve Smith making his 6th catch of the game.
And this is just a veteran receiver that probably told his quarterback in the huddle, just throw the football to me. I will find a way to get open. And that's exactly what he did with a lean route to the inside.
From the 36, first down. And the pass intended for Geddes. And he had to wrestle Ron Bartell to make sure Bartell didn't pick one off. And that will bring up second down and 10 for the Panthers. Geddes, as you mentioned, having a tremendous week last game against San Francisco. 8 catches, 125 yards, and his first 2 career scores. He hasn't caught one yet today.
And did you see the look on David Geddes' face? This is not last week. And there he felt like he was bumped and possibly could have gotten interference calls. A youngster, you have to learn to play through some of the physicality in the secondary.
LaFell and Geddes lining up to the right on second down and 10. Moore going underneath to LaFell, and he is stopped 2.5 yards shy of the first down by Kevin Dockery. And it's got to be hurry up from here on out for the Carolina Panthers. 3rd and 3. Moore. And John Fox said it was a catch by David Clowney. Let's see if he was right.
See, this is going to be the one that goes back to Visanthe Shanko last week with the Vikings about having possession, and as long as you got possession and the ball's not moving in your hands and it touches the ground.
Ruling on the field is that the pass is incomplete. 4th down.
That should be, that's when they're determining whether or not that's a catch. Last week, Shanko had the similar play against the Packers. They ruled it no catch, and later the league said it should have been a catch. That looks very similar to me in terms of what we were talking about last week.
And they're going for it on 4th down and 3, and that call may be right. And now we're going to have a challenge thrown by John Fox. You know, the ball did not move. You're right. He held the ball. The ball did touch the ground. And then what happened when he was underneath?
That's the part that they've got to totally determine. But based on this look, watch. Catch.
Carolina is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. We'll review the play.
See, to me, he has possession of the football with his hands despite it hitting the ground and maintains it through.
Better look here.
And see, with the momentum that we had with Visanthe Shanko's non-catch last week that the league later said should have been a catch and a touchdown, which had a direct impact on the game of the Packers. I would think that that's going to be determined a catch.
Okay, then the big question, indisputable visual evidence to change the call. That comes into play here as well, I think.
I think that and so much discussion in the last week about catch, no catch, different penalties not being called and enforced. You know, Jay Glazer reported in our pregame show that there's going to be a conference call about officiating league-wide. So a lot of chatter about what's happening with the guys on the field.
Coming up, Brett Favre, Tom Brady. Yes, Brett Favre says I'm playing, and the Vikings in desperate need here of some semblance of success. Minnesota Vikings 2-4 on the year going against the New England Patriots, who are 5-1, tied with the Jets for first place in the AFC East. And you know, the one thing about that catch, going back to that, is that Calvin Johnson play of the Lions probably, you know, when they review it and go over it again, will have worked for a touchdown for him when they go over it again.
And if he knows the Calvin Johnson rule from there on out.
All right, time for a game break. Kurt Menefee, bring us up to date, Kurt.
Well, it's the most talked about ankle in America that you were just speaking of. Brett Favre taking that ankle onto the field, looking like he will start today against the New England Patriots as Randy Moss heads back to New England for the first time since that big trade. It's America's Game of the Week coming up. You guys are done there in St. Louis. Dick and Charles.
Thank you very much, Kurt. And Mike Pereira is in our Fox Command Center, and his thought to our production people is that he thinks that play will be reversed. And let's bring Mike in. Mike, why would it be reversed, Mike?
Well, I think you got to say, look at her. Does he have control before the ball touches the ground? And that's the key thing. And then did he maintain possession after it? To me, close play, but not like the one in the game last week with Minnesota. I think you have here clear control. Ball touches the ground there, but he maintains. And that's why I think they'll reverse this to a catch. It's this whole element of a process.
And here comes Carl Sheppers, the referee, with his ruling.
After review, the receiver had control of the ball prior to any contact to the ground. His knee was in bounds. It is a catch. It will be 1st and 10 for Carolina at the 49-yard line. They will not be charged with a timeout.
Hey, Mike, thanks very much for being right yet again. And we can see the fist going up in the air from Mike Pereira, the Fox Command Center. Pereira, isn't it great being right? I mean, isn't that terrific? So it'll be a first down at the 49 of the Rams.
Don't know much about that in terms of experience, Dick, but I'll work on it. But you notice with Steve Spagnuolo,
I don't either.
Spags really got right back into the game because he's telling the officials, okay, you called it a catch. Why is the clock not running? He wanted that clock wound and running.
Moore's pass and caught by Steve Smith. He'll get the first down at the 34-yard line, picking up 15 with Bartell shadowing him. So we're winding down, 4.5 to go. 17-point lead for the Rams. We're in the fourth quarter. Moore is going deep for Geddes. Extending and letting it out, and the pass is incomplete. Stops the clock, but 2nd and 10 now.
And watch out here, okay? Watch Geddes, and watch what Bartell does. He gets the bump initially, but then he kind of stays with him and gets just a little bit of a push there to help knock Geddes off his route. For young rookie receivers, they've got to learn to be physical in running their routes and not letting a little thing like that bump them off and knock off the timing of the throw.
2nd and 10. Pass thrown to Smith, and Smith is tackled at the 28-yard line. Good play. It was Dockery and Jerome Murphy both sandwiched Steve Smith after picking up 7 yards, and they line up again without a huddle.
And in this situation, is Steve Smith all the time. Locate him and kick your coverage to him because that guy's going to play hard all the way through.
3rd and 3, and here's the slant. It's caught by LaFell, and Brandon LaFell makes the catch, and a flag goes down. Pending the call, it would be a first down at the 16 of the Rams.
Offside, number 96, defense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
So James Hall offside, they decline it. And a first down at the 16-yard line. Brandon LaFell, the 3rd-round pick from LSU. Geddes, who is the 6th-round pick from Baylor.
And if you're Carolina right now, you better block the defensive ends of the Rams. You better block Long 72 and Hall 96.
And they do block, and here comes the pass to Goodson, the running back, who also had double coverage in the end zone, incomplete. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Jeff Davis and his offense know this. Long 72 working against Gary Williams 65. He runs him by him, and they've got to play downfield. They can't hit Goodson. Steve Smith open on the other side. Jerome Murphy trying to fall back into the coverage. Again, finds Smith right here in the slot.
And Moore, LaFell makes the catch. He has a first down and into the end zone. Touchdown, Panthers. Brandon LaFell, and he did a lot more after he caught that ball to get free, and his first NFL touchdown. And the Panthers coming back late in this fourth quarter.
And we said they had to block Long and they had to block Hall. Back-to-back plays, they blocked both of them, and on the second one, they scored a touchdown.
Kevin Dockery is off the field and shaken up, the cornerback for the Rams on the 5-yard line. Meanwhile, LaFell with the touchdown catch, 17 yards. Here it is.
LaFell, well, watch, the ball should be thrown in front of him. It's thrown behind, so that's a great adjustment by LaFell. And then a shake, and then he takes it into the end zone. But we said he had to block James Hall, right? Look there, Jordan Gross, 69, rides Hall, 96, out of the play. And an excellent effort by LaFell to catch the football and get to the end zone.
And Jerome Murphy, another rookie, was battling on the play, and Brandon LaFell, excited with his first NFL touchdown, kept the football. And now the extra point, Jason Baker, or John Casey, I should say, trying to make it a 10-point game. And he does. 3:37 to go. And the Rams up by 10, and the Panthers with 2 timeouts remaining.
We see the rookie wide receivers, not nearly the production last week. They're just starting to find them late here in the game. But Steve Smith, who is the teacher of this group, watch Steve Smith. No plays ever done unless he gets involved. Knocks Dockery out of the way, and a little verbal message on the way past him. Steve Smith competes all 60 minutes of every game, every snap.
You know, he has 80 yards and 8 receptions. So he hasn't been totally quiet today by any stretch of the imagination. Has led the Panthers in receiving today. The problem has been the running game. Jonathan Stewart only 30 yards on 14 carries. The running game still slowed up. And of course, D'Angelo Williams hurt, unable to play this afternoon. And Moore 20 of 33 in the passing department. And that drive proved to be successful after the challenge by John Fox on the catch, and the call reversed by the referee. Onside kick, and the Rams get it at midfield. Britt Miller making the play, so the onside kick attempt fails, and the Rams will take over at midfield with 3:35 to go. 2 timeouts left for the Panthers.
Today, the passing game for the Rams, nothing in terms of huge yardage, but very efficient. Sam Bradford has been 25 of 32 throwing the ball for 191 yards, and he spread the ball around to a variety of receivers, and it's come from different launch angles. He's been in the pocket in the 3- and 5-step drop game. He's moved out of the pocket when he's felt pressure, little drop roll, you name it. You've seen it from Sam
Jackson
Bradford.
up the middle, and Jackson picking up 5 yards. Timeout called by Carolina. They have 1 timeout remaining. And the one thing about Sam Bradford, Charles, you have to like is the fact that he has thrown 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Last week, even though they lost to the Bucs by 1 point, 2 touchdowns and no picks. He does not make the critical mistake.
If he finishes this game without an interception, that'll be 3 straight games as a rookie without throwing a pick, showing the maturation. Opening day as a rookie, he threw a bunch of them.
Bradford looking for his 4th consecutive home win, which mirrors what the team would achieve if they hold on to their 20-10 lead. 2nd down and 5 on the 46. Jackson with a burst, and he'll be tackled about 1.5 yards shy of the 1st down by John Beeson. And the Panthers have used their 3rd and final timeout. Tonight, game 4 of the World Series, the Texas Rangers and the San Francisco Giants, who lead 2 games to 1. Cody Ross has had a great playoff, and 2 cities that have never won a world championship in baseball, San Francisco and Dallas-Fort Worth, battling in game 4 tonight.
Isn't it interesting in World Series how heroes emerge? Guys may have been around all year long, but you didn't notice them in the same way. A Cody Ross jumps up. Remember Brian Doyle in the series with the Yankees years ago due to the injury by Bucky Dent.
No question about it. 3rd down and 1. Here is Jackson, and he stopped shy of the 1st down for game break. Kurt Menefee.
This game keeps going back and forth, and right now it's Detroit who has gone forth and taken the lead. Calvin Johnson with the 3rd touchdown pass Matthew Stafford has thrown today. They missed the 2-point conversion, lead it by just 1 with 8.5 left. Dick and Charles.
Thank you very much, Kurt. Tight game going on there. And of course, you mentioned Cody Ross, who was picked up in August from the Florida Marlins, wasn't even with the team. And Brian Sabian making some great moves down the stretch, especially in the pitching department, to help the Giants. So it's 4th down, and Donnie Jones will be kicking. Captain Munnerlyn is back deep for the Panthers. And whistle. And a delay of the game call against St. Louis.
And I don't think it bothers St.
Delay
Louis
of
that
game,
much.
offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
It just helps the cushion for Donnie Jones, the punter, trying to push the ball downfield. Sometimes as a defense, you decline that to lessen that cushion for him, trying to drop it inside the 10-yard line. But the Rams fans were reacting. They wanted them to go for it on 4th down. Well, with that clock, the defense has played pretty well all game long. A 10-point lead, punt it, make them go the long way. Try and finish this thing off. I think it's the right move by Steve Spagnuolo.
Munnerlyn is back there. It calls for the fair catch. Stays in the field of play. And the Rams will down it at about the 2. There you have it. He got 5 yards. That might have been the difference in the cushion you talked about. David Bavora alertly downfield.
And the Rams have gone through so many receivers already in this young season. This is the last thing I want to see. LaRon Robinson trying to chip off of Ed Johnson. It looks like he's got a shoulder injury right now going to the bench. Talking about this all game long, Dick.
Donnie Avery, Mark Clayton, and Denario Alexander, who had that big game you talked about 2 weeks ago. And now LaRon Robinson appeared shaken up. Meanwhile, starting from the 2-yard line, Matt Moore, 10-point lead, no timeouts left. Here's Goodson, who catches the ball in the end zone and works his way out to the 6. Dahl on the tackle, and we're getting close to the 2-minute warning here.
This will be the only timeout the Panthers get for their drive is a 2-minute warning.
Want to get another play off before that 2-minute warning, and they will. Moore. And it's caught by LaFell, shy of the first down. And it brings us to the 2-minute warning here with 1:59 on the clock. It's the Rams who are trying to complete the victory. You don't want to go anywhere. Today, the Packers leading the Jets 6-0 in the 4th quarter. Vikings and Patriots coming up next from Game 4 of the World Series after football. We're going to try and get you to that Jet-Packer game after this one is over. 3rd down and 1. 2-minute warning. A 10-point lead for the Rams. Moore's pass is caught by Smith. He has a first down, but does not get out of bounds, and the clock runs.
The value of good tackling. Okay, the first down's given up, but that's not of concern to the Rams. What's of concern is that clock that continues to tick at 1:42 and counting by keeping him in bounds.
That was Jerome Murphy, the rookie from South Florida, who tackled and kept him in the field of play. First down, Moore up the middle, and it's intercepted. Another turnover. Oshimago Otagwe going in. Does he get there? No. He is stopped shy of the goal line. But the 4th turnover and 4th takeaway by the Rams. And a flag is down. There are 2 of them thrown in the end zone. Now, we heard of celebrations after a score. You don't often see one before he gets in, but let's see if he did get in.
After the play was over, illegal demonstration on the intercepting team involving 2 players. 15-yard penalty, first down.
They're trying to find their #1 target, Steve Smith, and this is one of those ones where the ball has to be delivered now before the safety can get there. But once he continued downfield, he ran it right into the coverage. And the ball comes out, and Oshimago Otagwe sitting on the route with the interception that appears to be clinching this one for the St. Louis Rams.
It did not appear that he got into the end zone. There was no signal given, and they're going to take a knee and run this one out. No timeouts left for the Panthers. And the defense has been the name of the game. Steve Spagnuolo, who came over as a great defensive coordinator with the Giants. How about Laurinaitis with an interception and a couple of sacks? Chris Long with a sack and a fumble recovery, and Otagwe with a sack and the big interception to seal it for the Rams.
This is a Rams team that, if you go back and take away the Detroit loss, think about how well they've played defensively all year long. That 44 points that Detroit hung on them appears to be an aberration. as opposed to what people have gotten used to seeing in St. Louis.
You're so right, Charles. In fact, if you take away, and you can't take it away, but other than that 44 points given up against Detroit, the most points the Rams have given up this year, 18, and that was last week against Tampa Bay. So the Rams win their 4th in a row at home, go to 4-4 on the year on a day that they celebrate Isaac Bruce, part of the greatest show on turf. The Panthers dropped to 1-6 on the year, and the final score here in St. Louis, the St. Louis Rams 20 and the Carolina Panthers 10. For Charles Davis, Laura Oakman, Dick Stockton saying so long. We'll take you now to the AT&T Game Break Show in the Fox Network Center.